a simple way for a company to spare a product from being forgettable, and that's to actually walk the talk. If you're going to call your phone Ultra, price it like a MacBook Pro, and paint 100x zoom on the camera hump, you're actually setting the bar really high for when the testing begins. I'm not going to call the Galaxy S20 Ultra a bad phone, but its flaws made it quickly forgettable. It was full of nice ideas, but sadly the implementation made it really hard to recommend. I even felt that it was ahead of its time, and proof was seen with how well the Note 20 Ultra came to save face. It shows how second-generation products are always a better investment. Now, what happens when you get to Generation 3, where the idea has matured enough that you no longer need to boast numbers on the chassis, where fan-favorite features finally make it, and where the price is dropped in such a way that you can almost forgive the important features that are missing? Well, this is the Galaxy S21 Ultra, what Samsung calls an Ultra that easily lives up to its name, which is actually a statement that I'm willing to agree on in almost everything. After testing it for about 2 weeks, there is a lot to unpack. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is our full review sponsored by SUPCASE. Stick around to learn how you can win a Galaxy S21 or a Galaxy S21 Ultra. The opposite of the word forgettable is memorable, and by definition, to achieve that, a product has to be both special and unusual. I think the biggest problem with the Galaxy S20 Ultra is that function did not follow form. It was definitely unusual, but sadly, it couldn't nail the special part reliably. The massive phone, camera hump, and price intended to give you the best camera experience you could buy, and fell short. The S21 Ultra intends to fix that. Like, seriously, unusual should not mean ugly. And I'm just gonna say, I think this is the best looking Galaxy ever. Samsung's new contour design intends to be more cohesive. The camera hump is now less pronounced and designed to sort of blend with the aluminum side rail. And since the back is now as matte as can be, it remains clean for longer, and the shiny border only helps it stand out. Yes, this is still a large and heavy two-handed phone, but there are some clear improvements in weight distribution. You'd assume this phone is lighter than the S20 Ultra, but in reality it's the other way around. Another welcome change is that Samsung no longer seems to be competing for the largest display on a smartphone, finally. Samsung's dynamic AMOLED 2X continues to reign supreme as the standard to beat with its color reproduction and HDR10+ support, but at 6.8 inches diagonal, it's actually a hair shorter than before and also better in every other metric. It's now brighter, up to 1500 nits, has additional improvements for eye strain management, we finally get 120Hz refresh rate at Quad HD Plus resolution, and given the minor bezels and loud speakers, it's a joy for content consumption. With the phone below it, and then under there's another... By default, the screen is set to 120Hz at Full HD Plus, but after testing the endurance of this phone after 2 weeks, I really have no problem in recommending that you max out the settings. Since the panel offers variable refresh rate between 10 and 120 Hz, depending on what you're doing, this larger than average battery has lasted me at least a day and a half every single time, and that's with moderate to heavy use and while on Verizon's 5G speeds. Now, a lot of the legwork for these results comes from the new set of internals. The 5nm process on Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 888 is far more power efficient. Other essentials like the RAM and storage options match with the updated Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and even the multiple flavors of 5G are all the fastest in the industry. And sure, you also get the usual perks like water resistance, reverse wireless charging, and even ultra-wideband, though I suggest you choose your storage option wisely as it's no longer expandable. And that's just one of the reasons why I call this phone almost Ultra at the beginning of this video. At this price, you're also going to have to invest in headphones and the wall charger that are not included in the box. Also, keep in mind that the Gorilla Glass Victus that surrounds this phone is not indestructible or scratch-free. As always, my advice is that you protect your phone with channel sponsor SUPCASE. Those of you looking for the full rugged experience, there's the award-winning UB Pro, made of a high-quality hard polycarbonate and shock-absorbent TPU. You get all the texture and grip you need along with 20-foot drop resistance. I doubt you'll find a better quality solution that includes a kickstand and a belt holster for such a low price. Simply search for S21 case by SUPCASE on Amazon and use promo code 10Pocketnow for a 10% discount, or go to SUPCASE.com and use promo code Pocketnow15 to get a 15% discount. Yes, we have partnered with SUPCASE to give away a Galaxy S21 and a Galaxy S21 Ultra, so follow the first link in the description and enter promo code PocketNowGalaxy. That'll enhance your chances to win. Now, I never thought I'd say this about a Samsung phone, but one of the main reasons why I've switched to this as my primary Android device is because of the experience using it, mainly because of a combination and added perks in the hardware and some much desired benefits in the software. The first is that new ultrasonic fingerprint scanner that is significantly faster and far more convenient during this pandemic. The second is, finally, S Pen support. Not sure what took Samsung so long to finally bring the Wacom digitizer to the S line, but it now feels like if this Ultra has nothing to envy from last year's Galaxy Note. And yes, you'll have to buy one separately, and you will lose the Bluetooth air gestures that I honestly never used anyways. My advice is that you use an older S Pen or choose from a bevy of third-party options. Sadly, Samsung's silicone case with S Pen is really bad quality. If anything, keep the taller S Pen included because it's more ergonomic, but the flimsy material in the case is a lint magnet that subtracts from the phone's badass finish. And everything else, the Galaxy S21 Ultra seriously feels like if you're using a Galaxy Note 20 Ultra with updated internals and a bigger battery. You can call on screen-off memos, your Samsung Notes now sync even with Microsoft OneNote, and yes, this means the entire Microsoft Office suite fully supports it. You can also use it as a surrogate mouse, and pretty much every other trick the Galaxy Note can do. And as for the desired software updates, One UI 3.1 includes a couple of added perks that even last year's Galaxies on One UI 3 don't offer. For example, on this phone, you can now choose the Google feed to appear on the left of the launcher, like finally. And hey, if you don't want that, Samsung Free is pretty good. It actually ports the free TV channels and entertainment that Samsung TV owners get. And then everything else, from the new aesthetics to the faster navigation on the UI, to the Edge menu for multitasking, to Android 11's new way to stack notifications and home devices, if you're looking for a large phone, this is one of the few that can actually take advantage of the added canvas. Now, Samsung's definition of Ultra is mostly about what these cameras can do. The new array follows on more of the Huawei P40 Pro Plus arrangement, with one massive primary sensor, an ultra-wide, and two telephotos at different focal lengths, all assisted by laser autofocus. Now, you might think it's overkill, but I seriously feel that this is what allowed the module to be less prominent. As a result, pretty much everything but the color science that I praise so much from Leica and Huawei is seen here. But since Samsung toned down its oversaturation and over-sharpening dramatically, the results during the day are fantastic. Switch to any of the 4 focal lengths and prepare to be mind-boggled by the amount of detail. And I seriously also prefer a jump to 3x for street photography instead of 5x like we had with the old Ultra. And then optical 10x is just fabulous for skylines, and I'd even say you can get perfectly usable photos up to 30x digital. So yeah, forget about the 100x option. There are tricks I disabled, like focus assist for close-ups, as I prefer the natural bokeh of the primary sensor. What the camera is doing is actually switching to the ultra-wide for more detail overall, if that's your jam, but it's also quite convenient for macros. Night mode is available on all focal lengths, but I recommend you stick to the primary if you're looking for detail, less motion blur, and just an overall better balanced shot. The ultra-wide does try hard, but will mostly be grainy, and any zoom shots are really just the digital crop from the primary. Surprisingly though, the only exception I recommend is for taking photos of the moon, as the phone's AI does a really good job at metering to catch it in its full glory. Selfies are also crazy detailed after you switch off the beautification, rendering some of my favorite results if you have enough light, though portraits can sometimes be hit or miss, at least with my ears. Now, when it comes to video, I see some dramatic improvements. In 4K, we have far less warping, if any, from the primary camera, fantastic stabilization, you seriously don't need that super steady that's still cropped at 1080p, and probably the best dynamic range I've seen from an Android phone, period. Now, in low-light video, you'll still get some minor warping as you walk because of the EIS, but it's actually perfectly usable. I'm really just struggling with selfie video, which seems to be a bit less detailed than I'd like, and also a bit grainy in brightly lit scenarios. It's perfectly usable in most cases, but it might not be your favorite choice for a stabilized shot as you walk. Now, I won't bore you with the gimmicks like director's view, because I was seriously expecting all cameras to record simultaneously instead of just giving me a choice for a picture-in-picture video or a bird's eye view of the others to switch to them. And sure, 8K video is here, but I'm still not a fan of the crop to be willing to recommend it. To conclude, did anybody count how many times I said finally on this video? Because I counted at least 6, and it actually goes beyond this phone. I actually feel that we're talking about a new Samsung here. That frenzy of bigger is better, or the more the merrier, has been toned down dramatically. The mentality of Samsung services versus Google services is now pretty much gone as well. It's as if instead of just throwing everything they can do at you, they actually decided to listen to consumers. Now, if we focus on this phone, I can clearly see how 3 generations of Ultra has matured into a much more desirable product. It's my favorite design on an Android phone so far, it's got the latest chip and network technology, it's got the best display on a phone that now gets S Pen support. The camera can now do things that most other phones can't, and the software has finally grown up to be almost what we want. Match to that the fact that it became $200 less expensive, and that even if you didn't pre-order the phone, the amount of trade-in deals available right now still makes it pretty irresistible. You'll actually compensate easily for the accessories that are not in the box, so I'll be sure to link to that as well in the description. Bottom line, the only thing holding this phone back from total dominance is timely software updates. In absolutely everything else, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra is seriously the best Android phone money can buy right now. It doesn't just pack the numbers for bragging rights, this time it actually delivers on them so well that I'd actually call it memorable. Let us know what you think about the Galaxy S21 Ultra in the comments down below, and while you're at it, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on my personal handles to see me be surprised by this phone, like seriously. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.